My name is Dr. Imad Mansour. I'm a learning and development facilitator at the University of South Florida. And I came all the way from Tampa, Florida, 12,000 kilometers. So it's a very long distance to come. So I hope I'm going to make your day worthwhile from coming from that far distance. Okay? Well, University of South Florida was established in 1956. Does this year make any ringing in your head?
What year?
1956. Okay. When was KFU established? King Faisal University. 75? Are you sure? Because when I looked it up, it was established in 1956 too, as far as I know. So that's like a twin university for you. Pretty close. Yeah, so. So yeah, I mean, it's still new. University of South Florida in Tampa, Florida, US is also kind of a new university, relatively speaking. So I'm working as a learning development facilitator, which means I'm a teaching consultant. I work with faculty at the university level to help improve teaching and learning so they can improve students' learning as well. We do a lot of consultation, classroom observation, one-on-one, and a lot of training workshops like this one. I had my PhD in education from Auburn University in Alabama with focus on qualities of excellent teaching. And I have also 2 certificates in college teaching, one from King's College in London and one from Auburn University as well. Okay? So having said that, let's start by sharing the goals for today. Here's the objective we're trying to achieve. So by end of this today, I will help you basically identify several research principles about learning, how human beings learn, how students learn, and then actually use those principles to apply in your classroom to improve teaching and learning in your classroom. And hopefully as we go, we can devise a plan on how you're going to do this in your classroom. Okay? So these are basic objectives for today. How many of you know the schedule for today's workshop? If you don't, I just make sure that you have it here. So we're going to have a break at 10:15 for 15 minutes, and then a longer break about lunchtime for a prayer and lunch at 11:30 for just 30 minutes. And we'll come back for the final session. Okay? All right, let's start with this. Now, when I say the word science of learning, what comes to your mind? Think about it for a second. Okay? Go ahead, think about it, write it down. Think what science of learning means. You did? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead now. Talk to the person next to you. Pair up with somebody next to you and share what you got in your head. You got a minute. Go ahead, do that. And first of all, introduce yourself. If you don't know each other, first of all, introduce yourself to that person and take a minute to just get to know them first. Okay, go ahead. Okay, here's my signal to stop this activity. Whenever you see me raise my hand, raise your hand too. Okay? This is going to be a signal to stop. So when I raise my hand, go ahead, raise your hand. If you see me, raise your hand. All right. And actually, this is a very good technique if you have a very large classroom and you want people to stop, because once they started, it's a chaos. You can't stop them. But this is a good way. Simply, everybody sees you raising your hand. You're going to raise your hand, and subsequently, everybody will raise their hand and stop. Okay? So let's share now. What do you got? What the word science of learning means to you? Yes?
Can I lead?
Oh, yes, please.
Identifying how can the person learn in a
So how the brain can tackle information, how a person can learn.
Inducing it into the memory.
Okay.
Inducing it into the memory.
And use it in the memory and
Recalling such experience and transfer it to subsequent situations.
recalling and transfer. Oh, that's a lot. Thank you. What is your major? What is your department?
Nursing education.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now. So you have that information. What about you guys? Did you hear that? So what do you have? You have anything different? Go ahead, yes.
It is the planned learning.
Okay.
Need from the evidence.
Mhm.
Plan and then you plan for the learning based on the evidence.
Okay, so it's based on research. It's a science, right? So it's a lot of research. It's not like anecdotal, like it's not a story or like what I think is right. It's based on actual research. And using that research to transfer it, translate it into actions in classrooms. Anything else? Any other ideas? Well, I think you nailed it. You got it right. So basically the science of learning is a summary of three sciences together. Neurology, the science of nerves and the brain, educational psychology, and cognitive psychology. They combine together to get into this science and to use the science information and research-based principles into application and implication for the classrooms. So the whole idea we need to learn this today is to know how people learn. Why should I know how students learn? It's a basic question. Why do I really need to know that? Any ideas? Why should I care? Yes? To be able to affect them. So improve their learning, yes.
Because all are not able to grasp the thing at some particular level.
All right, so students don't learn the same way. Yes?
To improve my teaching.
Improve my teaching, absolutely, yes. Come on. Men, we're in a competition here. So what do you think we should learn about this science? You probably didn't hear what they said, but why do you think we should learn this? What's the reason for coming here today?
If students learn better,
Yes, absolutely. So you want to, so you want to improve your teaching and improve your students' learning. Why? Again, another question. Why? Why do I want them to learn better? Outcomes is better. Yes. So basically, the goal of university is to produce effective students. And effective students means they can achieve the outcomes of the university, and the way to do this is through improved learning. Absolutely. So, well, we're going to talk today about only 8 principles. There are actually several, up to like 20. But I picked only those because they are kind of interrelated, and also they are very simple and straightforward, and very most common. So we'll talk about attention, novelty, prior knowledge, context, spacing, retrieval, emotions, and expectations. So let's see, what about attention? Well, the principle of research showed that memory formation required focused attention. To learn, actually you have to pay attention, otherwise there's nothing going to happen. So let's see, the research about attention definitely going to talk about the memory system, how the memory works. So basically when you see something, hear something, or there are a lot of stimuli that will bombard you from all over. You come to this room and you hear some noise on the fans and some chairs squeaking and some people walking around and a voice from here, a voice from there, you smell this, smell that, a lot of stimuli. If you pay attention to everything, you're going to go crazy. So your brain does not pay attention to everything. Only pays attention, is very selective, only pays attention to what the brain thinks is important. So what makes anything important? If you pay attention to something, that means it's important, and it will go directly to the working memory, the short-term memory. It's like a waiting station. So what makes it important is because you rehearse it, you repeat it several times. Like if you introduce yourself to me this morning, my name is Imad. Well, I didn't pay attention to that, so immediately I'll forget your name. But if I ask you, can you repeat your name one more time? and if I can use that name a couple times, that means it's important to me. Now it will reside at least in the short-term memory. But if you don't use it or rehearse it, it will get lost. So you could tell me your name this morning, by tomorrow I would not remember. But if you pay attention to it, continue, stay in there. But if you keep using it and retrieve it from the big storage, which we call the long-term memory, it will reside for a very long time there. That's why it's called long-term memory. It stays, information stays there for a very long time. But still, if you left it without practice, let's say for months, it will be also lost. You need to bring it back over and over time, over weeks, over months. So that's basically the memory system. It's all about attention, encoding, storage, and retrieval. You get the information, you encode it, and then you store it, and then you bring it back by retrieval. And these are the principles basically we're talking about today. So basically the first one, memory formation requires focused attention. So let's see what is that research said. Well, the research said that multitasking yields up to 50% error. You know what is multitasking? What do we mean by multi? Students think they can multitask. What does that mean? Yeah, they can process more than one thing. Well, I can listen to you and surf the web at the same time. I can work on my computer and I listen to you. Well, this is not right. This is not true. Actually, they cannot process more than one thing at a time. Even before that, let me share something with you. I'm going to run a little video here, and I need your full attention, 100% attention. Okay? If you have seen this video before, just stay quiet. All right? Ready? How many? How many you counted? 15? Raise your hand if you got 15. Okay, those who raise your hand, keep your hands up. Those who got 15, did you see a gorilla in the video? Yes. With a 15? Yes. Are you? Did everyone see the gorilla? What gorilla? Did everyone see a gorilla? Well, I don't want to ask this in the opposite way, but if you... There was a gorilla there. But if you counted 15, you most likely haven't seen it. So this is the same video. I didn't change anything. Now don't count anything. Okay? Just watch. Have you seen this before? Everyone did? No. Of course not. You can't get the count right and see the gorilla at the same time. And that's what happens. Your brain cannot process two things at the same time. Most likely, it's some people are exceptional. They can do it right, but the majority of people will not do both. Simply because your brain cannot do two things at one time. It has to have selective view of one thing at a time. What happens is the students say they can multitask, so they can go back and forth between the two things. So they can look at the web and listen to you and look at the web, back and forth. They don't do it at the same time. So there's no such a thing as multitasking. They're only switch tasks. Switching tasks is what they claim they can do, but research showed that it results in a lot of error, and their final test usually will suffer from that. So that's one principle. The second one is that attention span is short. How long you can pay attention to somebody just talking is short. How long do you think people can listen to you? Raise your hand if it's 60 minutes. Straightforward, they can listen to you for 60 minutes. with straight talk. How many of you think 30 minutes? All right. It depends on the topic and the speaker and all that, but we're talking in general. If you're just lecturing at them, talking to them, with no interaction, no nothing. How long they can listen to you? 15? All right. 10? 5? All right. So basically the majority will say 10 to 15 minutes, especially like freshmen, students, first year in college. They don't pay a lot of attention to speakers unless they get them engaged. So attention span is basically very short. And you cannot keep attention of the students for more than that. So what's the problem? We'll have to figure out how to deal with that. Well, another principle is called primacy recency effect. What does that mean? So let's see. I'm going to do a little test with you. I need you also pay attention real quick. Okay? So I'm going to show a bunch of letters, and I want you to memorize them in 10 seconds. Memorize as many as you can, right? Ready, set, go. Don't take notes, don't write down. Okay. What was the first one? What was the first one? D? B or D? D as in dog? Everybody agrees? All right. What was the, number 6? C? D? B? B, C, D? So we disagree now, right? All right. Basically, let's go back so you can double check. HDU. So it was a B. You see what the problem here is? This is the primacy recency effect. The first thing everybody will remember very clearly. Things as we go down in the middle, things start to get fuzzy. I don't remember much. That's what happens in your lecture. At the beginning of the lecture, attention is so high, everybody's paying attention. And also, if I ask you what the last one, you probably would remember the last one. But in the middle, not much. So that's what is called primacy recency effect, or the position effect. The place where information is makes a difference. So this is what it looks like. Opening, the primacy at the beginning, this is high attention. And then attention goes down, and then at the end of the class time, attention is high again. Why? Oh, it's over. We're happy that it's finally over. So we're excited now. We're waiting for it to be over. So we pay more attention now. So it's like prime time, you know, like in commercials during a football game. You are watching in the middle, not maybe in movies probably. Football game, they're going to be like halftime. But when you're watching a movie and there's a situation that's very exciting, all of a sudden they cut you off and then give you a commercial. Like when you are paying so much attention, it's like throwing something at your memory. So it goes straight to your brain. The same thing here. The prime time one is the beginning of class, and then downtime during the middle at 40 minutes, and then you go up again. So what does this have to do with teaching? What's the point of all that? How can we use this information in teaching? All right, first of all, you have a syllabus, right? The document that has all information about your course, like the outcomes, the readings, the schedule of every week. You have those, right? It's required by accreditation to have a syllabus. So in that syllabus, there are some policies, like the academic dishonesty policy, like no cheating. Attendance policy, you have to attend like every class. If you have an excuse, you have to report excuse. All these policies about attendance and cheating and excuses, they are in the syllabus. So one place you need to put another policy is a technology policy, which means no use of phones or laptops in class. Do you see students in your class using laptops and phones? Question. Taking notes on laptop? Well, actually, there is a good answer for that, but before we get to it, let me tell you the answer. Well, research showed that taking notes by laptop, it means like you are not processing this information. It goes from your ear to your finger. You don't even think about what you're writing. You're just scribing. You type, but you don't think about your typing. Handwritten notes are much better for learning because you actually have to take the information, process it, and summarize it. So research showed that taking notes with laptop is not effective. Unless there is a very big excuse. Somebody says like, I cannot hold the pen. I have arthritis in my fingers. I have to use laptop. In that case, well, they should let me know. Like I'm expecting an emergency call on the phone today. I have an emergency. I'm waiting for something to, serious to happen. Let me know. And I would put this in my policy. No use of electronic devices unless you have an emergency. You need to let me know. And I will probably put you on one side of the room so you don't distract people around you. Because somebody could claim, well, I'm just taking notes quietly. I'm not distracting anyone. Actually, distracting everyone in a circle around you is like 3-4 feet. Everybody's going to be looking what you're doing. And sometimes you start giggling, you know, and laughing because you're not taking notes. And that's what I'm saying about multitasking. They will take notes for a minute and then go check their emails. Take notes for a minute and then go shop online, buy something online. So you can't guarantee they're actually taking notes. And they are very distracting. That's the problem. They claim, I'm not doing anything to anyone. Actually, you're doing a lot of harm to everyone. And the problem more than that is, if one does it, why shouldn't I do it too? And why shouldn't I do it too? So everybody will do it. And now we can't stop it. Well, you allow this person, why shouldn't you allow me too? Let me bring my laptop too, and so I can check my emails when I get bored. You know, I can do stuff. I can do homework for another class. Yeah, that's what happens. So yeah, you need to stop those. Again, for primacy recency effect, what do you usually do at the beginning of class? Take attendance? Get back like homeworks? What do you do at the beginning of class? Revision of the previous class. This is great. Do you actually, everybody does that? I don't think so. Sometimes, you know, it's the prime, remember, this is the prime time. So if you really want them to get the information you want them to get, give this information at the beginning of class, right at the beginning. Tell them what's the purpose of today's class. And at the end also remind them about it. So have you been in a class where people leave and then he says, what he was or what she was talking about? Does this happen? Yeah, of course, you know, because they weren't paying attention. You didn't give them the message that you want to give them in the right time. So the beginning of class, use it wisely to give them the message you really want them to get today. In summary, in brief. Tell them, here's what I wanted to achieve. Start with outcomes or objective for that day. Well, you can get attention, but the problem is you need to keep attention too. So how are you going to keep attention? Well, one thing is the way you start, the way you open your session. How you usually open your session? Okay, today's topic is X, Y, Z. Oh, here's X. Right? That doesn't get attention at all. If you switch this to like a quote, a picture, a very interesting picture, or a problem they need to solve, they will buy in. They will be interested in listening to you. Because now it's a problem. I need to solve this problem. Remember how I started asking you why actually you want to solve this problem? Why is the issue? You need to know, why are we here? There is a goal, there is an objective we need to achieve. So always start with a clear objective. What do you want them to be able to do today? Well, the change of voice and tone is really important too. If you're monotone, you lose everybody's attention. That happens really quickly. People get bored and get sleepy. Yeah. So you need to change your voice up and down, pause. Sometimes even pausing is really effective. You know, if somebody's asleep and you stop talking, imagine what happens. They wake up because they think it's over. Oh, it's finished. Oh, let me wake up now. So it's important to work with your voice. Sometimes visual aids can help. So not always should be words. Use some pictures, list words on the slide. Don't like copy and paste paragraphs verbatim and read them. That's the least effective. Yes, don't give him the PowerPoint presentation before coming with everything on it, because now there's no reason to come. I have your PowerPoint presentation. It has everything you're going to say. Why should I come? You know, no need to. Presentation should not give everything. It should be like brief points that they need to come so they can get clarification. Your session should be complementary to complete the notes, not to be the same as notes, not a duplication of the notes, but a complementary of the notes. Definitely you need to get them engaged. There's no way around that. How many of you use clickers? Do you know what clickers? It's like a electronic response system, a device they can click to make a choice, A, B, C, or D. I'm not sure if it's existing here, but there are alternatives for those, like you can raise your hand. Just put your fingers in your chest for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. There are multiple ways you can do with low tech, but still it's engaging. You have to have them do something. CATS is a classroom assessment techniques. I have a short list for some of those here I will give you later today. You need to have a break. How long is your class time usually? 50? 1 hour, 50, 75 minutes. Well, sometimes it doesn't need a break if it's going to be a lot of lecture. But if you think you've been talking for a long time, you need to give them a break. They can just even stand up. You know, sometimes I give them like a 2-minute technology break, like, oh, okay, now take a minute, check your phone. Students are so attached to their phones. They need to look at them every minute. So when you tell them, okay, I'm going to give you a minute to look at your phone, they are relieved a little bit. Call it a technology break. But they need some breaks. It doesn't have to be physical break to leave, but even a change of mode, that would be a break. Again, you need to start with clear outcomes. You know what are outcomes? Sure you do. What you want students to be able to do by the end of this class. This is what you need to start with. Make it clear to everyone and yourself, actually, first of all, yourself. Because if you really don't know what you're trying to do, you're going to get lost. And everybody will get lost. So you need to have a very clear goal, what you're trying to do today, and use action verbs. So like, I want my students to list 4 things. I want them to compare and contrast these 2 principles. Don't say, oh, I want my students to understand the concept. That's not a clear goal. Because how would you know they understood? You have to have action verbs. Well, chunking. What do I mean by chunking? Have you heard this term before? Right. Oh, okay. So small lessons, exactly. So divide your 75 minutes into like 3 pieces and stop after each piece. If you continue as a continuum for 75 minutes, it's hard to digest. How many of you can eat like 2 kilograms piece of a steak? Can you eat it all together? Yeah, of course not. But if you cut it, maybe into small pieces, little digestible pieces, you can digest it over a period of time. That's the same concept. So cut the information to small pieces. That's chunking. And that helps also with attention. How? Because now, you know, at the beginning and ends. So at the beginning of first chunk, they're paying attention. Then it goes down, then start again another chunk. Then another period of more attention, and so forth. So they have multiple beginnings and now multiple ends. All right? Use the downtime. There's always going to be time when attention is waning down. So what do I do with this time? Well, use your prime time or the high attention time to give the information, and the low attention time to actually do the practice. Have them do something. So your prime time, you're going to go ahead, give the new information, beginning of class, maybe 10, 15 minutes. Then attention is down. I would take that time to let you do something. Go work in groups, solve a problem, reflect on what you have learned. Let them do something during that time so it would be used effectively. And instead of they're like completely lost, they're at least doing something before you go back to the prime time too. And then at the end you give a closer or a summary, okay? All right, now we have said that. Let's see. I got some handouts here. I'm not sure if these will be enough for everyone, but let's see. So, could you pass it out, please? Could you pass these out, please, to everyone? So this is a handout with all the 8 principles. And your mission, if you're accepted to choose it, is to actually reflect now on what you've learned. What did you get out of this last session? For like this last 30 minutes, what did you get out of this? Go ahead and write it down on the first rectangle here. What can you remember from that information? How can you use this information in your own class? Did you find anything useful that you can actually apply directly to your course syllabus, to your classroom activity? What you can do with it? Think about it, write it down. Go ahead.